Hi guys. Okay, so I get a lot of questions about banana ice cream, and the truth is it's really easy to make, easy to eat, it's good for you. I figured the best way to show you guys how to make banana ice cream is via video. Makes sense, right? It's so easy. I mean, even Marlo can make it, so I figured why not just do a really quick video and show you guys how to make it and show you tricks on how to make it easier. Because I've looked online and apparently there's a ton of different recipes and they're like way more complicated than they need to be. You don't need like different milks, you don't need to freeze and then refreeze and blend and then refreeze again. All you need to do is have frozen ripe bananas and a blender, and that's it, and you can have banana ice cream in like 1 minute. Plus 24 hours because you have to count freezing time, but that's another thing. So let's get started. Ideally, you're going to have ripe bananas. This banana here, see there's like no spots, it's not ripe. Like, I know a lot of people think this is a ripe banana, but it's not a ripe banana. A ripe banana is a spotty banana. So this is also very great if you have extra bananas laying around and you don't like to eat them super spotty, then freeze them and make banana ice cream. Another thing I want to note is that if you buy bananas and there's plastic on top, that's typically to keep them from ripening too quickly. So if you pull off the plastic and place them on the shelf, they'll actually ripen faster, which is great, especially for people like me. One last thing I want to mention before getting started is that if you're not growing your own bananas or buying bananas locally, then you want to make sure you're only buying bananas that are organic and fair trade. Because the banana industry, well, it's a little wah-wah, like it's not good. So ideally, if you are supporting the banana industry, you are only supporting organic and fair trade. Okay? Cool. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna need is frozen bananas. And so for this, it's like super easy. You just take your ripe bananas, you peel them back, and then you can just break them up, and you can either lay them out on a plate, or you can go ahead and toss them in a bag, and you want to freeze them for at least 24 hours is ideal. Super easy. We just use our old like frozen produce bags and toss them in there and reuse the bags basically until they fall apart. Sometimes they have holes in them, it's okay. You just keep using the bag over and over again. Not a big deal. I mean, you can go out and buy like freezer bags, but you don't need to. Just use what you have. It makes more sense. So once your bananas are frozen overnight, you want to grab your blender. For this, it's very important that you have a high-speed blender. You do not want to be using some dinky old-school blender because you are going to break it and it's not going to be good. Handheld blender, also the same. You're just going to break your blender. Don't even try doing this. It's going to be a pain in the butt. Another thing you could use is a food processor, actually, and we used to do that before until we got our high-speed blender. Now we have this, and we use this like 10 million times a day. What you want to do, take one ripe, non-frozen banana, and you want to go ahead and you want to break that up and place it along the bottom of the blender. Just cover it up. I like to do that so that you don't get too many frozen stuff on the bottom. It helps blend it all easier. Then you want to take your frozen bananas. If you have recently frozen your bananas, they'll break up really easily and you can just toss them in. If they've been sitting in the freezer for a while, you might need like a knife or a spoon to kind of tear them apart. That's totally fine. I do that all the time. You take your frozen bananas and you want to start placing them into your blender. So the question is, how many bananas do you need? Well, I don't really have an answer for that. That's really dependent on how much banana ice cream do you want to eat. The more bananas you put in, the more banana ice cream you will have. If you have a lot of banana ice cream, you can eat a lot of banana ice cream, which is great. You could share it with friends or family, which is great. Just have a banana feast, which is great. So that's a lot of bananas, but it's a good bit. It's a good amount. We're happy with it. For myself, I probably would eat this many bananas alone. I don't expect you guys to do that. It could be a lot of bananas for you. It probably is, and that's okay, but you can make this much, share it with friends, whatever. Another thing to note is that the more bananas you put in here, the easier it's actually going to be to blend it up. If you only have like this many bananas in there, it's actually going to be more difficult to make the ice cream. More bananas, easier to make, it just blends up a lot better. If you want to make less, I mean, that's totally fine, but you're going to have to maybe stop the process a little bit to jam it down and then keep going, which is fine. It's just easier to make more. So I like to make more. So you turn on, well, let's put the top on. You're definitely going to want to use a tamper. I know a lot of people who are scared of using a tamper. I don't know why. They've designed the tamper to work really well. It's nice, safe, efficient. It works well. Definitely use a tamper. As far as like the blender settings, you're gonna kind of want to play around. I usually go about like I start with a low and then turn it up and then lower as needed, but it's pretty simple. I mean, you could just keep it on like the middle setting and it'll work just fine. So let's turn on the blender and we're gonna it's already blending, which is great. If you notice that it's getting stuck a little bit, which this one isn't, but I want to show you, you can just pull off the top and kind of jam it down a bit with the tamper just to get it in there a bit, and then restart. Banana ice cream. Super easy to make, and I will show you guys. It is super nice and creamy right now. It's awesome. So again, this would be about 1 portion for me, but this would also make great like 3 or 4 smaller portions if you do not want to eat this many bananas by yourself. But for me, like typically this is breakfast and or lunch. So I make quite a bit. See? Nice and creamy. It's, I don't know, it's wonderful. And it's great for digestion, which is great. Bananas are super nice and easy on your stomach, especially if you're using ripe bananas. The last thing I want to mention, which I should have mentioned before, is you can totally add different flavorings, fruits, whatever you want to it. Once all the bananas are in, you can toss in like a scoop of cocoa powder or vanilla bean extract. I really love passion fruit in mine, or blackberries. If you're using fresh fruit, you want to put the fresh fruit at the bottom, then the frozen fruit. So with the passion fruit, I might put it at the bottom. If I have fresh blueberries, I'll put it at the bottom, and then the bananas. Whereas if I'm putting frozen blueberries, I'll put those at the top. You always want the fresh fruit at the bottom. It just helps make it easier to blend up. That's pretty much it. It's nice, easy, and it's really good. I hope you enjoy this recipe. Definitely not a food blogger, definitely don't plan to be one, but hopefully this recipe is easy enough for you guys to try at home and be inspired to eat more fruit, which would be absolutely wonderful. That's mine. That's mine. I love you. Okay, bye.
Say like a outgoing message.
Have a banana day.